What if you're making it way too hard? So perhaps you have on your spiritual journey, your personal growth, and you've come across issues that you can both sense, feel, and you are beginning to enter an awareness of what your traumas are, where you have woundings that you perhaps could be in a good position to heal in this point in time, but you still have thoughts, feelings in your body, and beliefs that this is something huge. And then you feel the tickling in your stomach, and you're making the sound of, ugh, this is something icky. And you think you have the awareness, okay, perhaps you have a childhood trauma here, perhaps you have limiting beliefs, or perhaps it's wordings. The words we use, I hear that so many places. We've just been abroad, my husband and I, for the weekend and spending time with people. And the words that people use without the awareness that you are a magician, the words you use creates feelings. And the feelings that those words create is what creates a reality. So, what world are you living in? Are you in a place in your life where everything is just nice and cozy, sunshine and unicorns? Or are you in a place where things, traumas are coming up? Can you feel the lack of love? And this time really represents the era of awareness. So you will begin to think about things differently. If you are watching this right now and you can feel that this is something that is true for you, you are beginning to elevate. You're beginning to have awareness that you didn't have prior. And this is a good thing because you begin to be aware of what it is that is holding you back. When you go back, it can be things from your childhood, and it probably is. The thing that's also in there is you're probably making it too hard. Often, when we go into the personal development space where we have some sort of thing that we want to work through, we should, of course, sit with it, feel it. We can go into meditation, we can go into the mind, we can go visit places in our mind to see where is it that something is holding us back. What could it connect back to? You can also get some help. This is something I do for people. I help them find out where is it that you are holding yourself back. What is it that is missing right now? And then just shine the awareness onto it. The thing that is important here is you are not just soul, spirit. You are also body. You are also human. There will be things in the soul area where we will do the work that has to do with soul, the soul being. Then there will be the embodiment part. And they are connected because we are not just one thing. When we are here as a human being, with the soul incorporated in that human being, there will be embodied actions to do. And some people will grind and work and push through the human experience to get an outcome. If you're watching and following me, that is not your strategy. That is also not my strategy. I do not have tons of energy to keep pushing and to keep going. I have a lot of fire and passion for initiating and putting new things into the world. I am always out to better things. So no matter what I enter of projects, I will always see how can I improve this to get even better. And the thing that I'm very much into is simplifying complex knowledge. Because what I see is people are making it way too hard because we want our issues to be hard and difficult and complex, and of course they are. But when we think about something, and we are making it too hard, we are also avoiding going into it because it's too hard. We can't just go into it. And here I use different sentences to better how can we start to move ourselves when we've been sitting with it and we don't get anywhere with it. What can we do to take some embodied action to change the frequency in ourselves to begin to move towards the thing? It can feel very heavy if you're always sitting there feeling and grinding through the emotions, and that can feel very hard. So a good thing to do when you are doing the work is to remember to embody the action, and that can be walk for 10 minutes. Take a walk and walk for 10 minutes. Sit out in the sun. Get some sunlight on your skin. That is also something that will change your frequency. Remember to drink the water and also bless the water. That's a thing that you perhaps are not doing at the moment. Bless your water. I bless my water that I drink, and water loves to move. So I always just shake it a few times back and forth because water loves to move. And when you drink that water and you have the movement, you will get that nourishing blessed water inside of you, which is also something that is going to expand the journey that you are on. That is also an awareness. We have to do something to change the frequency when we have the avoidance tendency. Many people do that. Oh, this is too hard, or that feels icky. So I'm just like doing everything else to avoid to do the thing. But the thing is, when you actually start to do something first time, it will always feel icky. When you have done it 10 times, and let me use an example of ice bath, right? People can go into ice cold bath. Some people will just sit in there, breathe slowly, and they can go into very cold water. Other people will dip the toe, flip out completely, and can just not get in the cold water. So what is it? Some people will be able to be in colder water than others. And this has got nothing to do with what temperature is good for you or not. If you are a very sensitive person, if you don't have a breath work practices, this can be hard for you to do so. If you are very sensitive, you do not need as cold water as somebody who's just started to be more aware of themselves. This will be different. But the thing is, one time will be hard. Second time, third time, 10th time. When you are getting in the cold water 10th time later, well, it's not going to feel that bad because you will start to develop a skill of breath work, of focus, of some sort of artistry in yourself so that you can begin to get in. You will merge it so it fits you better. The thing is, you simply decide, this is something I want to be good at. Then you know it's going to be hard the first time. It's going to be hard many times. But when I start to do this every day, this is going to be simple. This is not a hard exercise, but it will be when you start to do it, right? So your nervous system can feel very different around it. But the exercise is simple, but you are making it too hard. And can you see how you can do this with everything that you do? Everything can be very hard when you start to work with yourself. It doesn't mean that the task is harder for you or it's more complex. It just means you're new at it. And when we are new at something, it's gonna like do a little icky thing to begin with. The more you do it, the more you train your consistency, the easier it's gonna get. This is something to remind you that when you start to do the journey work, it's gonna be a little hard. a sentence that I love is, I get to do this. You can just turn on the television. A lot of people out there do not have the choice of getting to do something. You are in a position where you actually can see you get to do this. Just because you feel a little icky feeling in your stomach, it doesn't mean that this is harder for you than anybody else. It just means you haven't done it before. Then we would start to question, when I feel like this, I can feel it in my throat, or I can feel it in my stomach, I don't want to do this work. I don't want to look into what is it that I'm missing out on here. That's avoidance. But when we start to see it, what has this got to do with? The lack of love of myself, perhaps. I see this a lot right now at the moment. The lack of love for oneself. Why are we choosing a bad life? Why are you choosing to feel bad in the stomach? Why are you not setting the boundaries that are good for you? Why are you not eating the healthy, nurturing, supporting foods? Why are we not drinking enough water? Why do we not bless that water? What is it that we do to embody our everyday feelings? So when I wake up and I don't feel like it today, I'll say, I get to do this. You're not pushing the workout for 2 hours. You're just starting to walk for 10 minutes, or putting on your favorite tune on the music player, right? And you play your favorite music and you start to dance, perhaps you start to sing. That is also embodiment. That is also you changing the frequency of yourself. Every day doesn't have to be something that we work on and we push on. No, but we know that when you push on something, it doesn't have to be hard, because 10 times later, it's not going to be hard anymore. And every time you train yourself on this knowledge, I get to do this. I know it's going to be hard when I start, but if I do it for 10 days straight, then my day 1 and my day 10 are going to be completely different. And now it's easy for me to do it. Can you see how that is a change and an awareness that now you actually work on yourself? You do the inner work and you embody it in real life. And you have awareness, and then you start to train your consistency. And of course, there can be days when you don't feel like it, or when it's too hard. Well, perhaps you should sing and dance today, right? It's just a state of awareness that you start to know, today is a harder day for me. I feel heavy. I don't feel like it. I just want to sit here. Okay, perhaps you should do meditation and journal work today, right? Feel into what is the correct thing for you to do today. But never spare yourself because you are doing avoidance. Be honest with yourself and say, okay, is this because this is a new habit? If you wake up every day and you smoke, that is something that's not hard, but that's not actually nourishing, is it? So if that's easy, but to do the right thing is hard, it's just a pattern. Don't judge yourself for it. Look at it as data. And say, okay, I'm very good at some bad habits, whatever that is for you. So you recognize that. And then you say, okay, so a new habit of me could be smoking less or quitting. I simply decide that I want to quit. This is a sentence I use a lot. I simply decide, and then whatever I want to decide. And of course, I can have days where then it didn't work out as I simply decided. You cannot just simply decide. You have to do some sort of action to embody it. And then we do it on different levels. We do it on the soul being level, and we do it on the embodied human level. So then we can simply decide, this is the new me, this is what I'm gonna do. And the days where it's hard, okay, then I change the frequency by singing and dancing. Then I can do the ice baths, then I can do the walking, then I can do the workouts. 10 times a month, I can tell that my hormones are better, my testosterone are higher, so I feel good in working out. I can lift heavier, I can work out longer, and I have energy for that. But it's only like 10 days every month. Okay, so I do it 10 days every month. And I do Qigong, then I do my stretching, meditations. I will do more here, and I'll sing and dance more when I have my other 10 days of powerhouse energy. And I'm okay with that. I don't have to be the same for 30 days. If you are a manifestor or a projector, you can relate to what I'm saying here, because you don't have your sacral center defined. You don't have access to consistent energy. And to reach a point where you can be okay with that, and you just say, well, this is a cycle. What I just shared with you here was like my cycle. And it have taken me quite a few years to be okay with that. And after finding Human Design System, I was like, oh, okay, so that's why. Because I was comparing myself to the generators and the manifesting generators. They're like 70% of the population. They do have the sacral center defined, which doesn't mean that they should push for 30 days. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying they have more consistent access to energy from a motor center. Projectors and manifestors do not. So to just realize that everything is a rhythm. Also, if you are a female, you will have rhythms of your cycle. So you're not supposed to be the same for 30 days. No, you have to learn your rhythm, right? When we start to know what rhythm we have and do a thing where I have a lot of journal books, write it down. You can also have a calendar where you write down every day, rate yourself on your energy in the morning for 1 to 5, 5 being absolutely good to go body pump for an hour, and 1 being it's hard for me to even get out of bed. Right, rate yourself. You will begin to see a pattern in your collected data, because that is what it is. You collect data on yourself. And when you collect data, you can use that to see, oh, is this my 10 days of being very high energy, lift heavy, badass queen today? Or perhaps you have 20 days of being a badass queen. Yes, nothing is better and nothing is worse. What is important is that you find your rhythm of your month and your year, right? And of course, there can be things where you experience death or everyday life. And of course, the energy will be different. But when you have reached a point where you know your baseline energy, it's easy for you to know, okay, so when life hits you, because it will, my life is not easier or more positive than other people. I experience the same as everyone else, but I have very healthy boundaries around myself. I know my cycle, I know my baseline of my energy. I know when to do what. And if we have had a lot now, my husband and I was away this weekend, been around tons of people. And that is something where I have other people in my energy. That is something that I notice. How does my energy change? What was the quality of the conversations? Does this affect me in any way? And then I go back to a practice. Do I need to move energy? Do I need to walk more? Do I need to sleep more? Do I need to drink more water? Should I get in an extra 15 minutes of meditations through these 3 days, for instance? So knowing what habits and what things should you come back to because you know your baseline. Can you see how that is very valuable for you? Knowing how do you react. And I don't react emotionally. It's just data. What do I need to do to bring myself back to that focused state or relaxed and peaceful state that is good and healthy for me to be in? Because it's the word balance. Have you heard that we need to have balance in everything, or we need work-life balance? I don't know what work-life balance is, to be quite honest. If I'm passionate about something, I will initiate this and I will go. And I'm not done working until I'm done working. So that's not balance. And then I can go into long rest phases. I can have 6 months, 8 months where I rest more, where I only embody. I ride, I walk in the forest, I do journaling, I work out the 10 days a month, I do the stretching and the qigong for the rest of the months. And that is it. Do the healthy cooking, growing stuff in my garden, just basic life supporting things. And yes, that's not work, is it? But isn't it? Isn't it life? Isn't it work? Isn't it balance? Just know, if you are a manifester, you will resonate deeply with what I say. If you are a generator or manifesting generator, it will be easier perhaps for you to do this 30 days. If you, of course, respond to what is correct for you, which means, do you respond out of I should do this, or do you respond out of this is the greatest thing ever, this provides everything great for me? If you choose to respond out of things that really comes from your sacral center and you can really feel, this is it for me, great, then you're in the right place. Projectors, manifestors, you will never be able to keep pushing and pulling it out, and the generators can't do that. It's just to know that everyone is different, and this is not to label anybody, but this is something that we call the strategy and authority. When we live the strategy and authority within the energy centers, when you know how your energy is put together in your body, it's so much easier. And if you think that this is just bull, okay, get out your journal. Write down, rate yourself every day, and do it for the next 30 days. Rate your energy every day, and then you will see, this is me. Okay, so here I can see I'm eating more, I don't have enough sleep. Okay, are you going into your period if you're female? When your progesterone gets higher, you'll feel the need to eat more. It's a very good thing to track because you will feel different. And why is that? It's not because there's something wrong with you. It's just your energy moving in your cycle. I really hope that this is something you can take away and you can start to embody easy things in your life to start to become aware of that baseline energy of yours. When you are there, you'll see how it wasn't so hard after all. This is just me. When you can accept and love yourself for who you are, I promise you, your life will be so much easier, because the only person who was making it too hard to begin with was you. So that's it for me for today. If you enjoyed this, please share it with a friend, like and subscribe. It means the world to my new channel. I really appreciate you. Have a great day.